Good morning. Here's the front cover of the New York Times. Today's lead story. There are three big stories, and here's a strange picture. It looks like it's from Back to the Future. The lead story today is about tension in the Middle East. Now, no one kind of emphasizes this in the lead, but there is a slight risk there could be a new war. The odds of that are, I think, limited. But it's interesting because in this tension, Donald Trump is emerging as the big pusher for sort of a diplomatic approach. And President Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel is emerging as the big pusher for a slightly more war approach. It all centers around negotiations over Iran and its nuclear capability. Back in 2015, there was a deal struck under the Obama administration that Trump described as a disaster. Effectively, the deal allows Iran to enrich uranium and do some nuclear power stuff, but certainly not enrich uranium up to weapons grade, which of course it could use for a nuclear weapon. I don't think anyone thinks that's going to happen, simply because Iran has been a vocal enemy of the United States for years. Israel also sees Iran as an enemy, so much so that they have argued that the best approach to this delicate diplomatic situation is to blow up Iran's nuclear capability with airstrikes. They have kind of made some incursions into Iran recently, and certainly Benjamin Netanyahu is kind of bolstering his credentials as a strongman leader, which I think means war. Rather than necessarily a strategically smart leader, which I think means diplomacy. So interesting time, because Trump is essentially trying to walk Netanyahu off the war train, and Netanyahu is trying to drag Trump onto it. There are a couple of key sticking points, and the Israelis have been meeting with Trump's envoys in Rome and various other places trying to convince him on this. The key sticking point is whether Iran is allowed to enrich any uranium. Obviously the Israelis say no, none at all. Trump's envoys have been saying, it's about common principles. And what is striking is that Trump's diplomatic efforts have fallen apart all over the world. He's currently in a fairly difficult situation with Vladimir Putin. Certainly his tariffs were ruled illegal last night by judges, so that's going to be tricky to negotiate with China. It would be nice for him to get a win. And I think you may remember there's that famous kind of different Middle East issue, but Bill Clinton kind of raising the hands of Yasser Arafat, and I think it was Yitzhak Rabin, but it was one of the prime ministers of Israel at the time, saying peace in the Middle East. For any US president, achieving a peaceful outcome to a globally incredibly complicated, tense situation is always a kind of a win, and God knows Trump could use one right now. So we're looking at a situation where Donald Trump's kind of more diplomatic impulses are being developed by the fact that he's failing on so many other fronts. Certainly when it comes to Middle East and peace there, I would prefer if his calmer impulses prevailed. But you never know, do you? You never know. And that's the challenge under this presidency, is that you think you're on stable ground 1 minute, and the next minute the ground has been opened up, potentially by an airstrike, potentially by some sort of nuclear weapon. So I understand why it's top of the Times today. It's not a story that's been surfacing much because it's been quietly, diplomatically being dealt with. But there is a kind of deadline for some sort of new deal approaching. And as the pressure ramps up, somebody's going to have to give. So either Trump's going to have to give something, Israel's going to have to give something, or Iran's going to effectively kind of continue doing whatever it wants. Tricky. And of course, Donald's patience for tricky situations with nuance is never huge, is it? So we'll see how this one develops. Thanks for letting me read the newspaper so that you don't have to. My name's Matt Davis. I appreciate you.